there you are, YouTube. So the other day I completed all of the Best Picture nominations for this Oscar season. I've watched them all, and I thought, how about I rank them? And this ranking I've been working on all day. I've been adjusting it. I feel pretty confident in my top 3 and my bottom 2, but everything in the middle has been shuffling around constantly. Like, I have moved all of those around so much that just moments before I started recording, I switched it. So I don't feel confident in my middle ones at all. In fact, I could probably find excuses to move them around and shuffle them again. But let's try and put these in order. And I'm going to work backwards. I'm going to start with 10 to 1, save the best for last. So number 10 is West Side Story. I had a lot of issues with this movie before I even saw it. So that was not good for it. And I knew that going in. I was like, I cannot have these thoughts going into it. One of them being Steven Spielberg. I like when you make original stuff. Why are you making a remake? That doesn't seem like something I want you to do. Also, it was a feeling of there's already a Best Picture that won called West Side Story. The West Side Story has already won. Why is Steven Spielberg making another one, which will no doubt get nominated because he directed it, and it happened. So those were things I was thinking about beforehand. But then when I watched it, I just really wasn't that into it anyway. It had, I thought it was like CGI, but I'm not fully sure that it was. I was like looking it up online to see if there was like CGI backgrounds. I think there was a little bit, but I don't know, the color grading or something that was going on in that movie just did not work for me. Everything looked very artificial, and I just thought I'm not a big West Side Story person anyway. But out of the two, I prefer the original. So I don't know. I thought it was okay. DeBose should win Best Supporting Actress, best part of the whole movie. So number 10 is West Side Story. Number 9, Don't Look Up. I just thought, like, I had a fun time watching it in the moment, but I don't like movies that are incredibly dated. I'm sure there are exceptions, but this movie, like, already feels dated and out of date, and once you watch it, it's like, I don't feel like watching that again. At least for me anyway. Just doesn't feel like it has any life to it, because everything is just a reference to something. Like, I don't know, I like in the moment you're like, oh yeah, I remember that in the news, I remember that in the news, or they're making fun of this politician or this politician, and you know, you laugh at it in the moment, but afterwards it's just like, I don't know, it just kind of felt like jokes that die once you've heard them, once you've seen them. Like, they don't live beyond the moment. So it was a fun time watching it with my friends, with my friend and wife, but I don't care about it beyond that. And I just thought the ending, the credit scene, was very dumb. Number 8 is King Richard. I actually love when movies like this are nominated, just these very straightforward studio movies. It reminds me quite a bit of Ford versus Ferrari, and I love that movie. And I think this movie is good too, but it's just a little too straightforward, and I guess not. I don't know. It was like just a nice movie, but not extraordinary, I guess. The story was, like, in real life, when you're thinking about it, it's like, wow, that's cool that happened, but the movie itself was just a movie. So, again, I love when movies like this are nominated. I think it's great when, you know, big, mid-level budget type movies are nominated, but this one, again, was just regular. So that's why it sits at number 8. So now we are starting to get into the area where I really didn't know what to do. Things could really start moving around. Like, as soon as I finish recording this, I could be like, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have done that. So number 7, I have Drive My Car. And I think this one is probably the most, let me look, artful film of them all. Like, if we're judging based on art and I guess, I don't know, the artsiness of it, you know, the pretentiousness of it, but minus the pretending, if that makes any sense. I don't know, I I think this one had deeper themes in it, deeper metaphors, all of that. And it did have some good shots. It was a very still movie, kind of stagnant, but it did have some great shots in there too. And we're really seeing some great acting with some of the actors, just like watching their faces. All that was great. So, you know, there was a moment when I had this at number 4, just probably 15 minutes ago. It was number 4, but now it's number 7. Unfortunately, because I do think it's good. It's also very long. I think that might be why I dropped it, because a lot of the things that it was trying to say, it said very early on, but it just kept saying them over and over again for like a whole 3 hours. So, I don't know. But at the same time, that was a good thing, because it made you really sit and rest in some of these like traumas that people were experiencing beyond these events that they had. So like it's definitely a part of it. The length is definitely a part of this movie. It's not like it's overly long. I think it's purposefully long. But yeah, Drive My Car, number 7. Number 6 is Nightmare Alley. So this one, I feel like with Guillermo del Toro's movies, a lot of times they are just missing a little something, and I can never pinpoint what it is. This one, I'm not fully sure what it was missing. Maybe in my review I touched on it, but like right now, I just have this feeling of, I just wish there was a little bit more. I don't know what. I even feel that way about Shape of Water. I think, you know, Pan's Labyrinth is great through and through, and I like Crimson Peak through and through. I know a lot of people aren't that into that one, but those two are great. Even his Hellboys, I remember when I first saw the first one in theaters, I was like missing something, and then the second one, missing something. I just always feel like there's something there that's not there, and I can never pinpoint what it is. Rooney Mara was kind of wasted. I was really excited to learn more about her character and see what happened with her character, and we were sort of denied that, so I don't know. I guess that would be like a major miss, along with the movie itself missing something. But it was very interesting. I liked learning about the readings and how, I guess the trickery of it, the con artistry of it. It was all very interesting. So number 6 is Nightmare Alley, and that pains me because I love Guillermo del Toro so much. Even though I always feel like there's something that I can't pinpoint that I wish was there, but I don't know what it is. Number 5 is Power of the Dog, and I don't know. Right now, I'm feeling like I need that lower, but I don't know. Again, we're still in that area where I don't know where to place these things, and I just had to film this video, otherwise I would have been doing this all night. So, number 5 is Power of the Dog. The more I think about this movie, the more issues I have with it, but I'm also trying to like justify certain things, problems that I have with it. Like Benedict Cumberbatch, his character, spoilers here, gets killed, gets murdered because this son, this young man, Cody Smith-McPhee, is trying to save his mother from Benedict Cumberbatch because his presence causes her to drink and fall ill, and stressed and anxiety creates all of those things. But like, when I think about it, what did he actually do to her? Like, why did his presence cause all of that in her? Because all he does is kind of just need an attitude adjustment around her. Like, sure, he's, you know, mean to her son and bullies her son, so, you know, that can cause a lot of issues. But I think, like, the worst thing we see him do, like physical abuse, if I remember right, I could be forgetting stuff, but is beating the horse. Like, he's abusive to an animal. But I'm trying to remember what he did to Kirsten Dunst. I think it was all just, like, you know, like more verbal abuse or, like, attitude and things like that, and drama starting with her. So, but I was just like, why is this all turning her sick? So I sort of like changed the way I thought about this movie and thought about it almost in like a supernatural sense. Like, his aura, his presence has a supernatural quality to it that makes her fall apart, basically. So I don't know if I should be thinking about it that way. Maybe that's like wrong, but otherwise I almost feel like I'm confused as to what he's doing to her that's causing her to fall into alcoholism and illness and other issues. So yeah, but why I still like it is it's a Western genre film, and also like I guess like a murder movie too. So I don't know, at the end I was like, oh yeah, this movie was awesome, but the more I think about it, it's like, but it's not quite all adding up. So I'm just not sure how well this movie is going to age years from now also anyway. Okay, so we're still in the section where I don't know where to place these things, because Belfast is number 4, and I feel like maybe it should be a little bit lower, but I don't know. Maybe it feels too high. Like, I think this one was one of the ones where I got the most where I found the most surprise. Like, I was like, I don't really feel like watching this movie. This doesn't sound interesting to me. And then I watched it and I was like, oh yeah, that was a nice movie, and it made me cry at the end. So I guess that's why it's up there. Just kind of a nice little tale, kind of a Jojo Rabbit style thing happening, like through the eyes of a kid, world through the eyes of a kid. So yeah, Belfast is number 4. Number 3, based on bias, is Dune. I just like science fiction and fantasy, so science fiction bumps Dune up very high. I loved the sound, I loved the makeup, I just loved the visuals, all of that was great. I do not want this movie to win Best Picture though, but in hindsight maybe I will. Once the sequel comes out. Let's say the sequel is amazing, it's fantastic. Then, and I love it so much, then I would be like, okay, yeah, I would have been cool with the first Dune winning. But since we don't know what the sequel holds, I don't know if I want Dune to win, because I want the whole package to be good. It's like kind of the same thing with like Lord of the Rings. Although I love the first Lord of the Rings so much that even if the other ones didn't win, without having seen 2 and 3, I would have wanted Fellowship to win, because that's my favorite one out of all of them. But knowing how good the other ones are, knowing that the third one did win, I wish it would have been a sweep. All 3 would have won. So anyway, Dune, I have number 3, just because I like science fiction, I like the visuals, I like everything that goes with it. So Dune is number 3, bias. There we go. Number 2 is Licorice Pizza. I like that this is sort of a slice of life, but a very wandering one. It doesn't have a straight through plot, I didn't feel. There is, you know, this idea of will these two people end up together, but I feel like the end doesn't really give you a solid answer. I think if you wanted to interpret it, it's yes, but at the same time we've seen where they've been, and I don't know if it's gonna stay that way. It most likely won't stay that way, because they're, you know, so young. It's just, I guess I like that this movie is exploring crushes more so than definite relationships, because we have these two people sort of at different stages of their youth, both, you know, young people, but different stages of being young. So I don't know, it's like they have crushes on one another but don't want to make anything official, and well, one does, but you know, I don't know, it just kind of has a interesting look at that time in their lives, I guess. So I just had I had a good time watching it. I thought it was very entertaining. A lot of the things that they get themselves involved in, especially Bradley Cooper, I thought he was great. Kind of wish he was nominated for supporting actor. He brought a lot of intensity to the movie. But yeah, it was, I thought it was a fun watch. So Licorice Pizza is number 2. And number 1, so Best Picture can mean a lot of things, right? It can mean it has the best craft of the year. It speaks the most to the current moment. Sort of hits on all the zeitgeist things. Sometimes I think it's the most emotional. It's the one that makes you feel the most. And I think that's where my number 1 comes in. Coda. I just recognize that this isn't some great cinematic achievement when it comes to the craft, I would say, but like when it comes to the formal language of movie making, it's not breaking any boundaries. I've heard people say that it feels very much like a Lifetime movie, and I understand where they're coming from with that, because I feel like I can picture this on TV and never having hit the theaters. But I guess what's wrong with that? Because I originally wanted to put this movie lower because I was thinking that way, but I was like, why shouldn't a movie that feels that way not be nominated? Because out of all of these, and I think it's a weak year, really none of these were that like, you know, absolute favorites. I'm trying to think of which ones I would even watch again. Probably Dune to watch the sequel, and then probably Licorice Pizza. I don't even know if I'd watch Coda again, but I still have it at number 1. I just like the family relationship in it, and again, it's a very basic story. Will they, won't they go into college? Will they leave their family behind to pursue their own dreams? And I feel like we've seen that 100 times. Like, this movie is incredibly predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen when you are given the initial plot points, but it still grabbed me by the heartstrings and tugged on them. So this year, to me, Best Picture means most emotional, or that's where I'm putting most of my priorities, I guess. The one that hit me the hardest in the heartstrings. I don't always go that route. I feel like I rarely go that route. That's usually what I look at last or middle somewhere, but that's just where I'm going with this one, because I think I was overwhelmed with the overall crop this year. None of them really stood out to me, but this is the one that made me cry the hardest at the end. Belfast made me cry, but not the hardest. This one did. And sure, if you think it feels like a made-for-TV movie, that's fine. I get it, because I kind of feel that too. But I'm not going to dock it because of that. Originally I was, but I was like, no, that's like a pretentious thought that doesn't belong. This movie is a theatrical film, therefore it qualifies. So yeah, Coda is my number 1 pick. At least for like favorite. Because like, do I want it to win? I mean, I feel like if it wins, people are gonna always talk about how it's a bad win. If I'm looking for which ones sort of fit the best for, you know, pushing the medium forward, maybe Drive My Car. I'm not gonna say Dune because I know it's like part of a movie. It's a part film, you know, it's not complete. So I know, you know, it probably did a lot for visual effects, but I don't know, for the art, probably Drive My Car. But for having the biggest impact on me, affecting me, I'm gonna say Coda. So Coda is my winner this year. I don't even know how hard I'll be rooting for it though, but if it wins, great. But, you know, people say Power of the Dog might win, and I don't know, to me, I'm still trying to figure that movie out. Still trying to figure out how it all comes together, because things aren't quite adding up for me for that one. So, I don't know. I'm very torn, though. Again, none of these were movies that blew me away. And that's kind of sad. But there were movies that I liked. I mean, I think I liked them all except maybe the last 2 on my list. So, you know, that's pretty good. That's saying something. It's not like they're all garbage. So, yeah, that's good. I feel like I'm just kind of rambling now, just trying not to sound too mean about these movies. Okay, so on that note, thank you so much for watching my ranking here. How would you rank these movies? I'm curious. Let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.